Here's the most common thing that I have heard from operators using AI. I feel behind. They feel behind on the tools, behind on the workflows, behind on whatever the latest thing is that everybody seems to be using already. And it's not your fault. Like there's a whole bunch of YouTube channels and YouTube videos that are up there about the the latest greatest thing that has just come out. But here's what I want to offer you. It's not that you're behind, you have the wrong question in your mind. And the distinction is very important because it's more than any tool that you can learn this week. This is not something new, right? The question that people have always been trying to answer is which tool or which AI tool should I be using? I used to get this before AI was even around. Which email marketing software? Which course creation software? Which ad platform? Which channel should I be posting my content on? And it sounds right. It's like, which camera should I use? It's like, sure, it sounds right. It's actionable. It's something that makes you feel like you're progressing. You can Google it, you can make comparisons, you can watch tutorials, and you can come away feeling like you've moved further along because you've made a decision. But the problem is this answer is changing every 6 weeks or in every single day. Right? There's something like 90,000 AI tools available right now. Like, sure, you've got Anthropic, you've got Claude, and they've shipped something like 120 new features in the first 3 months of this year alone. If you're trying to keep up with the tools because that's what you're about, I'm sorry, but you're going to lose. Like, it's just impossible to keep up. I want to offer you a question that actually leads somewhere. What are the 5 to 10 use cases in your business where AI generally moves the needle? Like, what are the 5 things, the processes, the steps? What are the areas that you can actually use? Go find those, go deep on them, and ignore everything else. Here's what I would do is go make a list of all of the steps that it takes to get something done. So for example, in your lead flow, it's like you need to run a marketing campaign. Okay, well, what's necessary to get that marketing campaign done? You get a lead. What do you do? What are all the steps that you do to convert that lead into a customer? Right? Go down those steps. And it literally could be bullet points. When I started taking AI seriously, maybe about a year ago, right, I spent 2 months doing what everybody else did. And in some cases, I also still get caught up in this right now. Reading up on what's new, watching the tutorials. Like my feed is full of, oh, this is what came out yesterday, and this is what came up. I was setting up integrations. I was like connecting all the tools like Canva and Asana and all of these things, and I was moving between platforms using Manus and using Claude, just based on whoever had the most impressive demo. It's like Dan Martell talks about this tool. It's like, oh, let me go try that thing out. The thing is, like, my output didn't actually improve, right? My clarity about my business, the stuff that I was working on, didn't actually improve. I was actually anxious about, oh, am I falling behind? Something changed, or the shift came for me was when I stopped asking what tool. I was just like, I'm going to use Claude for everything, and I'm just going to ask, what's the problem that I'm trying to solve? And so in one of my businesses, I set aside some time, and I was like, hey, I'm doing these reports manually every day on a spreadsheet. Like, how can I automate that, or at least make that process a little bit easier, not only to save myself time, but also so that I can use that time to actually use judgment and use my strategies to figure out, like, okay, what do these numbers actually mean, and what changes need to happen to the campaigns to go forward. And so I picked Claude. I was like, hey, go build me this dashboard. This is what I want to look at. I gave it the data from my spreadsheet, and I said, this is how the thing should look. These are the main KPIs that I look at. Also, go give me the other KPIs that you think are relevant, that are important. And it went and built me a dashboard, right? Obviously, there was a bit of setup and there was a bit of stuff. I would say that's kind of more on the agentic side, because I actually got it to feed the reports every day. But yeah, that was one thing that I did that actually helped me get a better looking report, not just from a looking point of view, but also from a decision making point of view. It helped me save the time because I was no longer capturing numbers in a spreadsheet. It gave me 90% of the output that I was looking for because I gave it the context about what I was using it for. And that's the tool. Like, yes, there's a whole bunch of fancy stuff that have come up after I built that dashboard, but you know what? This thing works, and it's helped me save that time. And so now I can go and move on to something else Instead of like, oh, how can I improve this process like 50 times over because the tools have gotten better? It's like, well, this dashboard for now works and I'm happy with it, so let's move on. So audit your week, write down every task that you've worked on for the last 5 working days, and figure out whether it required your judgment or not. And the ones that didn't, those are probably the ones that AI can take over or at least help you figure out what to do with them. In the past, you would give that to maybe another human being, right? You would outsource that, find a hire somebody full time, or go online on Upwork or whatever and hire a freelancer to get that done for you. The non-judgment tasks, those are the things that eat up most of your hours. So just stop doing those. Figure out whether AI can do it for you or you hire somebody. But it comes down to making that list first. The third step is pick up one tool and build context about that use case, right? Create the sandwich. I spoke about this in another video, which is who the person is, what is the goal, what is the output that you want, and what does good look like. If you build something using AI, then run that every day to satisfy that sort of task and iterate on it, right? Use it for the next 30 days and figure out whether it's actually helped you save your time. And most likely you'll say that it did. Only iterate if the thing that you're getting is not better than what you did before by yourself. Obviously, from a time point of view, it's going to help you. It's going to help cut down those hours. You will get frustrated in this process because the AI is not always going to give you the best output, especially not on day 1 or day 2 or the first time that you run it. There's this thing about, oh, you can one-shot this design, or you can one-shot this process. There's no business in the world that has gotten things right on the first go. This YouTube channel is 450 videos in. I'm still figuring it out. Like, hopefully it doesn't take you 400 attempts. With AI, it probably won't. But you can tell the AI when you get the feedback, when you get the output the first time, the second time, the third time, hey, I was expecting this thing. Help me make this better. What information do you need? What more context do you need? What do you need to make it better? Communicate with the AI as a partner and it'll help you. And then you expand from there, right? Once you've got the first thing done and it's automated and it's working with you, do the second thing, then do the third thing. And then you just move on. And so over time, then you start freeing up your time and you start freeing up these manual steps and you start working on things that are actually important to you. So don't worry about the tools. Focus on the thing that you're trying to achieve. And the companies, the operators, the people that are ahead with AI right now are just using a few tools that give them what they want. They go deep on a small number of use cases and build context about what it is that they want. And remember that context, because of maybe experience, I've worked for 27 years in business and making money. And a lot of that context, I'm trying to give the AI all the relevant context that it needs. And yes, my processes have become easier and it's become better. And because of memory and because of obviously the development of how Claude is working, it's giving me better output. But that's the place that you need to start, is to give it that context. Because the context, your experience, your taste, what they call it, your decision-making processes, that context is actually your advantage. And nobody can replicate that. Not even an AI can replicate that right now. You're not behind. If you have a bottleneck in a specific process, how can you remove that bottleneck or make that bottleneck less of a problem for you in your business using AI? And if you're able to achieve that, then you're making headway, right? You're actually moving the needle. But if not, then sure, maybe there's some help or there's some work that you need to do still, but it's an iterative process. And so keep that in the back of your mind as well.